Why did God make us Edomites?
I hate my life.
This is our kingdom, a kingdom of righteousness. Praise the Lord. Praise ye the Lord.
Why did God make us Edomites? God hates us.
The only deliverance the other nations are going to get is deliverance right into slavery. They're going to be our slaves, thus saith the Lord.
Why did God make us Edomites? God hates us. Why? God, why?
Jeremiah 30:16 tells you every last one of the other nations, which are non-Israelites, are going into captivity. They're going into slavery underneath the Israelites when the Israelites go back into rulership. When is the Israelites going to go back into rulership? When the Lord comes. That's what he's coming to do. He's coming to set up the Israelites in rulership, beginning with King David. And when I say rulership, meaning the planet Earth, we're going to be ruling the planet Earth in righteousness. After he puts down the wicked. Who's the wicked? The Edomites, which are in power right now. Who are the Edomites? The so-called white man.
Why did God make us Edomites? God hates us. Why? God, why?
Praise the Lord, for he is greatly to be feared. He removed the wicked and put us righteous in power.
To victory and the dawn of a new era.
And when I say rulership, meaning the planet Earth, we're going to be ruling the planet Earth in righteousness. After he puts down the wicked. Who's the wicked? The Edomites, which are in power right now. Who are the Edomites? The so-called white man.
This is our kingdom, a kingdom of righteousness. Praise the Lord Yahweh. Praise ye the Lord.
Beginning with those top banking families, which happen to be so-called white people. We're talking about the Rothschilds, Rockefellers. We're talking about the DuPonts. We're talking about the Gettys, the Oppenheimers, and families like that. Okay, so when Yahushua comes back, he's going to take away their rulership, which they're enjoying right now. That's the long and short of it, of this ministry, man.
Pace, James. I need 200 pounds by sunset.
Yes, sir. I'm on it, Master.
Why did God make us Edomites?
I hate my life.
Why did God make us Edomites?
I hate my life.
Praise the Lord, for he is greatly to be feared. He removed the wicked and put us righteous in power.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful elect out there pushing his word in truth and in sincerity across the four winds. In the name of Yahweh Bashem Al Shai, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the believers, the listeners, whom they have came back, or who have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashem Al Shai. All right. And another day, another morning news and prophecy. All right. And today, gonna be interesting because you have a lot of protests throughout America, protesting on how Trump, okay, is moving, like a dictator. Okay. So what we're going to see, okay, is a lot of protests today. And best believe, there's gonna be agent provocateurs. All right, there's gonna be a lot of footage, okay, and what we're gonna see from, all right, the White House, okay, is they're gonna be able to use, this, as a way of justifying them bringing more, force, okay, Trump being more of a dictator, okay, because things are getting out of hand. See, this is what they want. This is what the powers to be, okay, the Trump regime, which is, the puppets, okay, for the elites. This is what they want, all right, because remember, they're destroying this old government, all right, and what they're doing is saying, look, the old government is not able to handle all this insurrection that's happening, okay, throughout the country. All right, there has to be a new style of governing. All right, new style of government to surveil, to keep up, to track. All right, to prevent things from getting this far out of hand ever again. Okay, so they want civil unrest. They want these government, all right, law enforcement to be attacked. Okay, so be on the swivel. You brothers, that's going to camp, which it's already, no brainer. Be mindful, be more circumspect, be on post, especially in these bigger cities, man. You know, playing camp. If you got to change locations, you know, camp before, early, all right, and let these people have this shit. Okay, you got certain camps, they live for the madness. They have a camp right in the middle, of the parade, which is not wise. Okay, in the protest, in the march, so you're gonna see some of that, because some of these camps are juiced in as well. So don't be surprised if there's footage with IUIC, okay, ISUPK in the mix. Don't be surprised if we see that footage. All right, because this evening, all right, and going into tomorrow morning, I expect to see all type of footage. Okay, dealing with what went on today. you know. So brother, just be circumspect on how you move, especially in these bigger cities, that's heavily saturated, with the protests. Okay. So let's go here because all this is an indicator, of the sign of the times that we're in. These are all just signs to let us know where we at. Okay, according to prophecy. So let's get this. I got a few videos I want to tap into as well. But let's go here. This book of Second Ezra, chapter 9. All right. And in verse 1, it says, He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Okay. So as we see these signs, okay, these are indicators of the times that we are in. And how do we measure the time diligently, man? We look and see what's going on in the world and measure it by what the prophecies say will be happening, leading to the second coming of Yahushua. Okay. And now, right, when we go down, we see these things happening. Okay. All these things is like a checklist of things to look for. And guess what? These things are happening right now, real time, showing you what time we in. This is finna go to another phase. These devils are pushing. Esau was in no huddle offense. Okay, you brothers familiar with with football, is guys in the no huddle offense. Okay, it said, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people, all right, and are we not seeing earthquakes on the rise? Okay, are we not seeing uproars of the people on the rise? Okay, in the world, and this is global. These are global uprising. Okay, well, Babylon is the center stage. Okay, because it plays a major part in what these devils want to try to do going forward with their new world order, and it plays a part in the judgment of the Lord. Okay, so it says, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of these things from the days that were before, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world had a beginning and the end, and the end is manifest. Okay, the end is manifesting itself, man. And we know that these devils, all right, because you have the Dems, okay, that fund a lot of these protests, these anti-Trump protests. We're not, all right, ignorant of Satan devices. Okay. But it doesn't matter that the Dems are funding it and that you have agent provocateurs. The thing is, it's happening. Okay. And what this is going to do is going to spark, civil unrest. Okay. Throughout the country. You see, the agent provocateur, they just get the party started. Okay. And then you have authentic, and organic, uprisings and unrest. Okay. So, hopefully, today, okay, go like we need to go. You see, we'll see, but hopefully today it go like we need to go, man. All right, and escalate. Okay, and see, we have the privilege of being courtside, all right, with this understanding. Okay, of how these things are going to play out. It said, even so, the times also the highest have plain beginnings and wonders and powerful works and endings and signs and effects. So we're seeing, okay, the endings and signs and effects, man. Okay, we're seeing all the signs that show where we at in prophecy, man. And see, it's beautiful. We don't have to be out there in the mix. We don't have to protest. We don't have to try to do coups on the government. We don't have to be militant. All right, all crawling on the ground and marching. Jake got shields. Nah, man. Okay, hey, we're right where we're supposed to be, and that's constantly pushing His word, man, and speaking these things into existence, man. See, the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Al Shai is in the driver's seat, man. Okay, and it's forcing, okay, the tempo, all right, of how these devils are moving, man. Okay, so yeah, I got a few videos I want to get into. Let's start off with this one because I thought this was interesting. Because I'm gonna let it play. Let me get it. Shalom to you, brothers. All right, you sister tuning in. It's a beautiful time to be a believer. The Lord is working on our behalf. All right, all this works in our favor, man. If a brother want to post it in the book of Romans 8:28, all these things are working in our favor. Okay, for salvation, man, and for the toppling, okay, of this wicked kingdom. Okay, so let's let this play. It's getting interesting, man. These ICE agents, and local law enforcement is getting interesting. And it's only gonna be so long. There's gonna be a clash with that. I believe that local law enforcement and ICE eventually gonna clash. Okay, and this video, gives, all right, it's an indicator. It's another sign that there could be, a thing. All right, so let's let this play.
All right, guys, we've got action all across the country. We know about Portland, Chicago, and Memphis has made the list as well. But now LA County declaring a state of emergency over the ICE raids. This is really where it all began outside of DC. Trump sent in National Guard troops and Marines, and then a federal judge said that he broke the Posse Comitatus Act in doing so. They were pulled out of that area, but then more strike teams sent in, and these ICE raids continuing throughout the area. They're now saying that people that are behind in rent because of these enforcement actions, that they've got this program that people can get in, but some others are very ticked off because they're saying they're using taxpayer funded money to do this. In some instances, illegals still getting protection and housed with this money is what others are saying. And state of emergency declared there in LA County, and it could spread to any other area around there. We've seen with Memphis, they sent strike teams into Memphis, but it's not just Memphis that they're looking at. They're looking at across the state line into Mississippi as well, where the sheriff said he's going to stand for the people. Okay. The sheriff just came out up in Portland and said the same thing, that they're going to stand for the people. in that if strike teams come there, then their people, their National Guard, are going to be used against those strike teams. That's right. That's because they're using their National Guard first. If you allow Trump, the feds, to come in and snatch up your boys and girls and send them off to do whatever, then they're doing whatever that they order them to do. If the state steps up and uses them first, then you've got first dibs. And you can order them to do what you want them to do, which is how it's supposed to work anyway. I mean, none of the troops should be using any of their duties to arrest people or anything like that per posse comitatus, but they're circumventing that. Now we shift over to places like Boston, where all hell has broke loose. They're calling this a premeditated attack. This shows that it was highly organized. Over 100 people unleashing chaos in the Boston streets, torching a police cruiser, hitting the officers with fireworks, cones, all of these felonies here. And it's like a riot-like assault. I can't see how Trump doesn't respond to this by saying, oh, we're going to send troops in there. It's too chaotic. We got to clean it up, just like he was saying with DC and everything else. So how manufactured are some of these events? It's time to pay attention. We've got it breaking loose in all of these cities. And again, it's organized. So from coast to coast, state of emergencies to all hell breaking loose here with these situations. I expect to see more, unfortunately. I hope that everyone has a plan. Join me for the live streams where I'm talking about this.
Yeah, man. So this is getting interesting, So now you have certain states, they're activating their National Guard, all right, to protect the people from ICE. Okay, to protect their citizens, their civilians, their local civilians from ICE. Okay, and then you have ICE that has arrested, a police officer. Okay, because the Fed, all right, has superiority over, local law enforcement. Okay, so this is going to get interesting, man. It's going to be interesting to see how this thing plays out. This dynamic between ICE and local, all right, police department and the National Guard of these different states. All right, you got the sheriff now, the state line, because Memphis is right there on the state line of Mississippi. All right, and you have this Mississippi town called South Haven, and I believe that's probably the sheriff, that he was talking about. Now South Haven, they run a tight ship. All right, it's night and day, from Memphis. Okay, so you cross over the state line into Tennessee, and Memphis is the first city right there on the state line. All right, to the north of Mississippi. So I'm thinking, just speculating, that he's talking about South Haven. Okay, and the South Haven, more than likely the South Haven sheriff. The facts will come out later. But more than likely that's what he's talking about. But the sheriff of whatever town said that he's going to stand with his people if ICE come across state line. Okay, so it's finna be interesting, man. It's going to be interesting. Like I say, this thing is moving to the next phase. All right. And Egyptian versus Egyptian has a lot of dynamic to it. It's not just going to be, okay, Joe Sixpack, okay, all right, versus liberal Linda. Okay. And you can have different law enforcement agencies at war with each other. Okay. That's a whole nother dynamic. All right. So let's get this real quick. Get this precept in a minute. But so let's go here, what they got going on today. All right. So this is what they got going on today. Hold on, I thought I had it. Hold on real quick. Pull the video back up. All right. So, like I say, today, the No King protest, all right, across the country. All right, let's go here. So let me pull this up. Now, the thing that's been tossed around, one of the things that people are waiting on is whether or not Trump is going to invoke, all right, the Insurrection Act, all right, which just shows you that the Lord has this thing planned out long ago, because the Insurrection Act, all right, was put into the Constitution, all right, back in 1807, you know, showing you that the Lord, all right, all right, because you go into an insurrection is a violent uprising against an authority or government. Okay, rebellion, revolt, uprising, or mutiny. Okay, when you go into that definition. Okay, so they are provoking a violent uprising because they want to invoke the Insurrection Act. Okay, so let's play this in a minute. But just to get that word, all right, it says the Insurrection Act, all right, is a violent uprising against an authority or government, okay? And the scriptures say that there will be insurrection, all right? And this is what these devils want, okay? But going back and showing you how, the Lord set this up, to be in place, because this is the Insurrection Act, and say it's from 1807, I want to say, all right? The Insurrection Act, all right, let's fact check it. Yep, Insurrection Act of 1807. Yep, so it was 1807. Okay, and when the Insurrection Act was put in place, you see, that's over 200 years ago, almost 220 years ago. Okay, showing you that the Lord, all right, caused this to be set up, all right, for prophecy to be fulfilled. Okay, so let's play this. And all these things are working in our favor. So let's get this precept. Then play this. So this is the book of Romans chapter 8, verse 28. It says, and we know that all things work together for good to them that love the Most High, to them who are called according to his purpose, man. Okay? So all these things are working for our favor and for our good. All right? These things, all right, must be. Okay? So what we're seeing, all right, is civil unrest unfolding right before our eyes. And these things are happening quick, man. Every day, there's something, there's some fuel being added to the fire, man. Okay, so let's let this play. He's going to expound on a few things.
This is Democracy Watch. Mark, with the No King's Day protest fast approaching, it's this Saturday, October 18th. There is concern that Donald Trump may try to invoke the Insurrection Act as the result of this protest. And so, first and foremost, I want you to explain what the Insurrection Act is, and second, whether he thinks there could be grounds to invoke it as the result of this protest.
Yeah, so the Insurrection Act is as close as we have in the United States to a federal statute that blesses or provides for essentially martial law. Now, it's not exactly martial law in the way in which you see it in movies, or even the way in which it takes place in third world countries. There would still be due process, there would still be courts, but what it really does is gives the President of the United States extraordinary powers to take the US military and have them play functions that otherwise they are prohibited from playing. And the biggest one is that the Posse Comitatus Act, which is a law that you and I have talked about in connection with the current deployments of the military and some of the successful lawsuits against those deployments in LA, in Portland, in Chicago, and elsewhere, is that the military cannot be used domestically for law enforcement. There are strict limits on what the military can be used for domestically and what it can't. And what the Insurrection Act says is essentially the president can declare that there is either civil disorder or an insurrection or a rebellion of such sufficient magnitude that he needs to bring the military in to play a broader role in the quelling that insurrection than would normally be the case. And so, look, the Insurrection Act goes all the way back to 1807. The country was a very different place back then. You did not have, as much federal law enforcement, hardly any federal law enforcement at all. And the states were, much harder for the state governors to govern. So this was an extraordinary measure at a very early point in American history when the survival of the republic was not a foregone conclusion. There were still wars going on, the War of 1812 that comes, is a few years after this, right? There was still a lot of threats to this young fledgling country. And most people have assumed that the Insurrection Act at this point is either dead letter or unconstitutional, or at a minimum, no president would ever use it. But this president keeps sort of floating the idea, and people around him keep floating the idea that he will declare an insurrection, he'll declare a rebellion, and invoke this act, which would give, like I said, extraordinary powers to him to use the military. And it is just hard to imagine when you look at what is going on in the cities today and the idea that people will be protesting in the streets, that somehow that equates to a rebellion or an insurrection. I mean, honestly, the only insurrection in my lifetime in this country that I would say comes close to this was what took place on January 6, 2021 in the nation's capital, when Donald Trump actually refused to bring the National Guard from the DC Armory and from Maryland and Virginia, the surrounding areas, to save the Capitol from being ransacked by a mob that he inspired.
Do you have any degree of worry, though, that those who want to give Trump some pretext to be able to invoke the Insurrection Act will purposefully incite violence, or may purposefully incite violence, so as to then again give him that pretext to be able to say, look, there is violence, even though it was those on the right who wanted violence in these crowds, so that he can go forward and say, we had no choice, we had to send in the military and invoke the Insurrection Act because look at all this mayhem happening right now.
Yeah, I worry about that. I mean, I worry about that already with the deployment of the National Guard, going all the way back to Los Angeles. You and I talked about this, that, the overwhelming disproportionate response of federal law enforcement looked at times like it was provoking the very facts that then led him to send in the military, rather than just relying on the LAPD. So there's sort of two parts to that worry. The first is, as you say, that there will be an effort on the right to instigate something where nothing otherwise exists.
Right.
The second, though, and I really want to hammer this point home, we have had real riots in this country. Like, we have had real violence in streets through the course of our history, and it has not led to the Insurrection Act. This was a point I made to you about the LAPD. I don't live in Los Angeles, but at least reputationally, the LAPD is not exactly known as a bunch of pushovers who are unable to use force in pretty escalated manners to keep crowd control. The Chicago police are more than capable and more than well armed to deal with unruly or even violent protesters. And so what I worry about is not just that there'll be a sort of effort to instigate this, but that then there'll be this sense, well, if there is violence, however it comes about, in whatever its origin, that somehow that requires us to bring in the U.S. military, right? That somehow the state police, the city police, that, in all these major metropolitan areas, they are insufficient to be able to bring law and order back. That just has not been the experience of this country.
And see, these devils are hoping, these these lower level Edomites are hoping that it don't happen. It's gonna happen, buddy. All right. And see, you best believe, because we talked about on the line last night, man, Esau gonna unleash some things beyond the military. You best believe he has a lot of toys, all right, that he's been working on, okay, to unleash on the masses, man. Okay, because remember, there's a depopulation agenda. Okay, and you best believe, I think Pete Hegseth, all right, the Secretary of War, okay, him and Trump, him and JD Vance, the Vice President, said they want American population down to 100 million. Okay, so these devils, you best believe they have some killing machines that they want to unleash beyond the military, man. All right, and what we're seeing is them pushing to give uh, what you call plenary authority, which the devil Stephen Miller. Okay, he said Trump has plenary authority. All right, which that authority goes into refers to power that is complete, comprehensive, and not subject to significant limitation, man. All right, and you best believe that these devils want to unleash, okay, these killer machines that they got, man. Now it's gonna go beyond troops because a lot of these troops are going to mutiny. Okay, a lot of these troops, okay, they're going to be with the people. You know, they're not going to be with the slaughter, okay, of American civilians. Now, they gonna slaughter Jake. You know, Jake. They gonna go crazy on Jake. All right, but even with that, all right, you're gonna have a lot of mutiny in the American military. But see, the AI doesn't have a conscience. Okay, you see, they already use AI over there in Gaza. Okay, certain walls and okay, they defend, you know, these small head cities. Okay, they're already AI operated. Okay, they're gonna bring that technology to America, man. Okay, they want to have it set up to where they have these AI, all right, machine guns. Okay, on these city buildings. Okay, and then if it look like a protest, those guns just go crazy. All right, on the people, man. All right, they're trying to bring a very dystopian reality, okay, to America, man. Okay, now, matter of fact, let's go. Um, let's go here. All right, let's get this in the book of Ezekiel. Then I got another one. No, one more video I want to go into. All right. Well, I say, plan to see a lot of footage from the day with these No King protests. All right. Plan to see a lot of footage, okay, of clashes, you know, with ICE and, you know, local police, man. It's getting interesting, man. The movie is getting good, okay? The Lord's movie, okay, of prophecy is getting good, man. Okay. This is the book of Ezekiel chapter 21 in verse 8. It says, again, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, prophesy and say, thus said the Lord Yahweh Bashim al Shai, say a sword is sharpened and also furbished, man. Okay, and you best believe this devil has been in the lab, all right, cooking up. You see, as Jake say, we finna see Esau go on his bag, man. Okay, you best believe he got some gadgets that he's been waiting to unleash. Okay, he got some things. The devil ain't proud for nothing, man. He got some things in the lab that no one has any clue about. Okay, if he's showing these particular dogs and, you know, these robots and, okay, he's showing you these particular things. Okay, because you see it in the movie Elysium. Okay, to where what the people are being governed and policed by AI, because they don't have to worry about the AI, all right, committing mutiny or feeling sorry for you people. AI just gonna carry out orders, man. Okay. Then you got the element of mercenaries and these different militias gonna be activated. Because there's people that's been planning for civil unrest for decades, man. Certain militias, okay, and they're gonna emerge. Certain veterans, okay. So we finna see all type of groups and militant, organizations just pop up. Okay. It says, thus said the Lord, a sword is sharpened and also furbished. It is sharpened to make a sore slaughter, man. America's gonna be a slaughterhouse, man. Okay. The atmosphere is being set because America has done this abroad. All the civil war that we see, Rwanda, okay, Vietnam, okay, Central South America, man, Nicaragua, okay, El Salvador, you see, and many more. America provoked that civil war and instigated these civil wars and turned these places into slaughterhouses, man. So that's coming to America, man. America's getting ready to reap what is sown in the earth. Okay, so civil unrest, destabilized governments, that's what America has thrown in the earth, man. Poverty, okay, war torn, okay. And it says it is also it is sharpened to make a source slaughter. It is furbished that it may glitter. Should we then make mirth? Okay, because all a nigga want to do is still play. Our people, you Israelites, all you want to do is goddamn play. Everything is a spoof, okay, and a chance to be goofy with you niggas, man. Okay, it says it contended the rod of my son, okay, is every tree. It says, and he have given it to be furbished so that it may be handled. The sword is sharpened. It is furbished to give it into the hand of the slayer, man. Okay, and ultimately the slayer is the Most High, because he's finna swing this sword of Esau. Because the Most High has sharpened Esau for this moment. Because you sharpen your sword, all right, to be efficient. You know, you want each swing to do the most damage. Okay, so the Lord has sharpened Esau, okay, to do damage, man. All right, and he's finna use it, okay, on 2/3. Okay, and you American citizens, all right, you Edomites, you're gonna get caught in the mix of that as well. Okay, it says, cry and howl, son of man, for it shall be upon my people, because that's gonna be the emphasis of that sword. It shall be upon all the princes of Israel, yeah, you leaders, whether you're a celebrity, whether you're a false Israelite teacher, you pastors, that sword gonna be on your ass too, man. The Lord gonna make sure, all right, that you feel that sword. Just because you made a deal with the sword, all right. Nah, see, you sellouts, whether you 501c3 Israelites, okay, you celebrity niggas or whatever, you made a deal with the sword. See, we made an alliance with the one swinging the sword, which is Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai. You made an alliance with the sword. It's gonna go bad for you, man. Okay, it said, terrors by reason of the sword shall be upon my people. Smite, all right, therefore upon the thigh, man. Okay, and these devils, what they're doing with these protests, all right, they want to build a case. Okay, so let's go here. Let's play a little bit of this news. All right, these two handsome Edomite women here. Okay, they hate Trump and they optimistic. You know, they Democrats, but they put together good videos sometime. All right, she kind of look like Mrs. Doubtfire with the glasses on, but yeah, and they optimistic as if democracy is coming back. It's over. You Edomites finna lose. Okay, you Edomites finna lose. 2/3 finna lose. The elect finna win. We should be in good spirits, man. We should be in the rejoicing spirit. No King's Day. All right, because the true king is on the way back. And you Edomites, your rulership is coming to an end, to a screeching end. And then the faster you devils scramble to try to set up this new world order, you're running to your own end. Okay, you're running to the king of terrors, man. Okay, so let's let this play. We'll skip around a little bit because they got some clips to show you that these devils, okay, are wanting to build a case, okay, against you American civilians, the enemy within. Okay.
All right. It's stage 5, Panic at the Disco for the MAGA cult, because they know that their numbers are underwater. They know that they are wholly unpopular. They know that independents have broken away from the movement like never before. They know the Latinos for Trump have abandoned them. They know that rural voters are getting dicked over left and right by all of the fuckery and cruelty that this administration is enacting. And come Saturday, Americans that care about this country, that care about democracy, that care about the rule of law, that care about the Constitution are going to protest this fragile, dementia-ridden ego that all of these men contort themselves to lift up, and all of these women gender wash to try to show women, oh, it's okay, they're pro women, and all the Christian signaling, it's all coming to a screeching halt. And there are going to be mass peaceful protests all over the United States of America, probably the largest ever. So the propaganda machine is everywhere, and the panic is in full display.
At this rate, it's probably going to be more like 40.
Okay, no, way too long. Let's see how much you're spending. Download an app called Rocket Money.
Oh, wow.
Put this up, Kylie. Midas Touch is reporting a breaking exclusive. Trump may launch missiles from warships into California this Friday and Saturday as part of what is being described as a, quote, vanity parade, and shut down portions of the I-5 during the No Kings protests. This is what a little mean girl does.
So they saying Trump might shoot off, some missiles, I guess as an act of intimidation off the coast of California. Probably land in a empty desert, or in the water, whatever, man. But you see, we got Trump petty like that, man. But yeah, man, this is beautiful. Okay, this is beautiful, man. So we'll see, but that's something Trump would do. And just like what a nigga do, just shoot a gun in the air. Okay, just cause. Okay. But yeah, man, we'll see.
He can't stand it. He's not going to be the homecoming queen. And so he's trying to sabotage it. This reminds me of, do you remember that case Pumps back in the 90s, the Texas cheerleader mom?
Yes.
That went after, this is what this administration is. We are ruled by emotionally stunted morons that do not like freedom and do not like free speech. Why they are in government when they have such thin skin is beyond me.
Oh, I know. They should all be private citizens. But I read this and I thought, first of all, I believe the Midas Touch. They're very credible. And I thought, under any normal presidency, you would look at this and laugh it off. Trump is so petty, it would not surprise me. None of this would surprise me because he doesn't want his feelings hurt. And he knows that everybody made fun of his birthday parade. And if this is a strong parade, it will kill him to his core.
And this is what they want, See, they are still under the illusion, okay, that these parades are affecting okay these the left, mean the right, okay. But I want to fast forward here. All right, okay, so this is the picture that they want to paint with these events. Okay, so we're gonna jump around, so let's play this.
I urge you to watch. We call it the Hate America rally that'll happen Saturday. Let's see who shows up for that. I bet you see pro-Hamas supporters. I bet you see Antifa types. I bet you see the Marxists in full display, the people who don't want to stand and defend the foundational truths of this republic. And we do. And that's what we're here doing every single day. And we'll continue to come in every morning and tell the American people the plain and simple facts, because the facts are going to win the day here. The American people are not stupid.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, so they want to link you to Antifa. Antifa has been made this boogeyman. Okay. Antifa, has been labeled a terrorist organization, which is not even an organization. It's an ideology. It's a stance, towards anti-fascism. Okay, which for the longest America, demonized, governments that were fascist. Okay. So this is what they want to do. All right, link you to Hamas. It's just crazy. It's just a crazy reach that we're seeing. All right, and they're villainizing, okay, American cities, American civilians. Okay, now let's play this. This is Mark Rubio. Now let's see what he has to say.
Evidence that George Soros and his network is behind funding
protests and peaceful assembly. Play the clip.
at this No Kings rally, and there's considerable evidence that George Soros and his network is behind funding these rallies, which may well be riots all across the country. And Soros is writing the check. And so I've introduced legislation called the Stop Funders Act that would add rioting to the list of predicate offenses for RICO. Why is that? Because it would let the Department of Justice use RICO, racketeering, to prosecute the money that is funding the anti-Semitic protests on campuses, the pro-open border protest in LA and other cities.
Okay, this is what it needs to be addressed in this thing. He said the anti-Semitic protests. Yeah. He himself just launched an anti-Semitic tirade. The reason that the George Soros rumors and propaganda have legs on them is because George Soros is Jewish. And so that hits hard with the anti-Semitic base of the Christian nationalist movement. Also, George Soros is a billionaire and he is Jewish, but he cannot stand Benjamin Netanyahu in this Israeli government. So you have all of the apex sitting with these anti-Semitic Christian nationalists in a very strange bedfellow alliance.
And see, there, the main thing, Rubio said that, these protesters, and see, they're not calling it protests, they're calling it riots. They're not even calling it protests anymore. They're calling all these protests riots. All right. And that, these riots, all right, there should be legislation. The RICO Act can be, all right, the RICO law, okay, could be put against protesters, man. And this all goes back to social credit score, So now participating in this riots, because RICO means that they have the ability to freeze your assets. Okay, see, if they had digital ID, they would know exactly all who was at these riots. And if your digital ID is linked to your bank account, well, guess what? You showed up to the No Kings riot, freeze your assets. Okay, you're a threat to national security. Freeze his asset, freeze her assets. And this is why they want this digital ID system. Okay, which ultimately is going to be the CHIP. All right, the MOTB. This is the government that they're ushering in. Okay, so now they're just building the case of why they need this style government. Okay, so let's go here to the last one. This is Pam Bundy. All right, damn devil.
And that's one of the things about Antifa. You've heard President Trump say multiple times, they are organized, they are a criminal organization, and they're very organized. You're seeing people out there with thousands of signs that all match, pre-bought, pre-put together.
Match.
They're organized and someone is funding it. We're going to get to the funding of Antifa. We're going to get to the root of Antifa, and we are going to find and charge all of those people who are causing this chaos in Portland and all these other cities across our country. Talk to all the influencers who have been threatened and beat up and their lives threatened from Antifa members. It's going to stop under Donald Trump.
What is she talking about?
She's making.
All right. And they just say anything, pull things out their ass, now, okay, people are getting beat up. Like, who's getting beat up? They're like Antifa is just this group that's going around and just snatching people out their homes and, just beating people up for being pro-Trump and, for being a small hat. All right. They're just making these things up. Okay. And, prepare to see, all right, more agent provocateur actions to give them, all right, the footage they need to do what they want to do, man. And that's to be, all right, more authoritarian. Okay. So let's go here, all right, because at the end of the day, this is what it looks like. Esau losing his power. Whenever you resort to gimmicks, okay, you're losing authority, you're losing the power. Okay. That's why I say no King's Day, no Throne Day. All right, Isaiah 47:1, it says, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon, sit on the ground, There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Okay? So there's no more throne, all right, for America, man. Okay, there's no more rulership for America. Okay, it's over. All right. And what we're seeing is the debacle of empire. Okay. And the fall of America is the fall of Esau, Edom, all throughout the earth, man. Okay. Because this has been, the pillar of Edomite supremacy in the earth is America, man. Okay. This whole beast system collapsed when America collapsed. Okay. And Yahushua is coming, all right, to destroy, okay, the residue of Esau's militaries throughout the earth. Okay. In this third world's war, it says, take the millstone and grind meal, uncover thy locks, and make bare the leg, uncover thy thigh, pass over the rivers. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yeah, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. Okay. So Esau is being exposed right before he's judged. Okay. And Esau is being made, all right, to take this walk of shame. This is very shameful. The way this man is trying to uphold his empire. Okay. And this man is being exposed, okay, for everything that he's done, he's doing, and that he's planning to do. Okay. And Yahushua, he's getting ready to take his vengeance, okay, on these devils, man. Okay. He's not going to meet Esau, Edom as a man. All right. He's going to meet Esau as a power. Okay. So this is what all roads are leading to. Okay. And this is just what they're doing now with this whole, No King's Day and protest and, the civil unrest that they're pushing. Okay. This is just another phase that's bringing him a step closer to having to deal with Yahushua, man, which is his end. Okay. So, that was the point, just wanted to get into that, Lord will, you brothers. All right. And you sisters edified once again. Want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushua, Bahashim, Makakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to us younger brothers, and peace and blessings salutations to the hopeful Shalom.